Hi everyone, my name is Felicia Wright, and I have with me here today Candace Jacobs Armstrong. How are you doing today, Candace?
I'm doing well, thanks, Felicia.
Today I wanted to just come by and talk to Candace a little bit about what she has going on in January of next year. Do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. I am a licensed funeral director and embalmer here in the state of Florida, and I'm also the CEO of Candace Jacobs Creations Incorporated, where we are merging funeral directing and design and engaging in relevant industry dialogue.
Wow. So I know you have a special event coming up, a community event in January 14th to be exact. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what that event entails and what inspires you to have the event?
Absolutely. This event is entitled the first annual Reframing the Conversation Life Planning Community Event. And essentially, it's an opportunity for the greater Jacksonville community to become educated on end-of-life care and end-of-life options that are available to them. I'm essentially trying to create a community of responsible, proactive individuals who want to develop a plan for the continued life of their loved ones when, let's face it, at some point in time, we're not going to be around to provide that support.
Right.
So it's all about trying to develop a plan. It's not a focus on death. It's a focus on being responsible and having a plan for when that time comes.
Okay. So who would you say this event is for? I know you mentioned that it's not an event about funeral homes or death per se, but who would you say that this event is for? Who should register for this event?
Everyone. If you're a woman, if you're a man, if you're single with children, if you're single with no children, if you're married, if you are in your late 20s, if you're in your 30s, your 40s, or if you're a baby boomer, you definitely need to register. It is not just for the elderly, because the reality is that time that we talk about is going to come for everyone, and we don't always know when that time is going to come. But again, because the focus is not just about, of course, death, it's about that time in between. We do recognize, we're wearing our purple, and Felicia and I are getting ready to do the Alzheimer's walk tomorrow.
Yes.
So the reality is that you may become ill, or you may go through a lot of those typical life changes prior to end of life. And so that's part of what's going to be discussed at the event as well. You know, we're going to have workshops that deal with Alzheimer's disease and dementia, that deal with hospice care, that you'll get an opportunity to learn about estate planning, you know, setting up a trust. Do you need a living will? Appointing an executor, you know, over that. Over that trust, as well as making decisions about who will provide, you know, the care for you, you know, healthcare directives. You know, you may get to a point where you may be homebound, and someone needs to be able to make financial decisions for you, go to the bank for you, take you to the doctor. You have to have all of that set up for that person to make those decisions for you. So again, none of that is about death per se. But if you wait to the last minute and then you're in the situation, you know, third-party entities are not able to just let someone make those decisions when you haven't set that up legally. So awesome, wonderful Amber Donnelly, a local attorney, she'll be there to present on that. And again, because the emphasis is not just on the elderly, that goes to your question about, you know, the inspiration for this event. Unfortunately, I lost a loved one, my god brother. His name was Titus, and he was only 41 years old at the time that he passed away. I mean, just at home, a normal day, I had spoken with him literally on the phone hours before, early that morning, just getting ready to go to work. He's sending me pictures, you know, from his son's recent christening service, and we were making plans to get together, you know, soon, because it was the new year. And unfortunately, later on that day, he passed out, and he didn't make it. You know, he didn't make it, and this was occurring literally hours after I got off the phone with him and went to work at the funeral home. I'm serving another family, not realizing that later on that night I would find out that at 41 years old he was gone.
Wow.
And it was so devastating. It still is at times hard to believe that he's not here anymore.
Right.
But I know my situation is not unique. There are other people out there who can tell that story.
Right.
You know, unfortunately, who have that sad story to tell. But, you know, unfortunately too, because of his age, he hadn't made those plans. He had been talking with his wife about, we need to do this, we need to do this. And unfortunately, I know, had no idea what was going to happen. Hours later, after talking to me, he thought he had more time. We all think we have more time. You know, and but the wonderful thing about his story is that the church he attended stepped up and paid for everything. Wow. You know, which was huge for his wife, and at the time their son wasn't even quite 2 years old yet. You know, so it made a big difference for them. But again, that's not everyone's story. You know, I meet families, I've served families who have to do GoFundMe accounts. You know, unfortunately, recently the event that happened over on the north side of town, where there was two young girls
and the 1-year-old.
Absolutely. Someone was just texting me the other day and telling me how they had heard that they started a GoFundMe account to try to meet the needs of this family, funeralizing their young loved ones and a child. You know, which is unthinkable. You know, so that's why I say, Felicia, everyone listening, this event is for everyone.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that, Candace. And as you can see, this community event, January 14th, is not just for the elderly. It's not just about death, but it's about helping those prepare for, you know, unexpected situations, because we never know, you know, when our time is. Everyone's not going to be fortunate enough to have a GoFundMe account and get the money that they need. But if there's a way that you can take steps to help, you know, that situation. And as Candace mentioned earlier, you know, we're doing the Alzheimer's walk this Saturday. My grandmother actually passed from Alzheimer's Valentine's Day 2013, and my mom was her caregiver. So not only was my grandmother affected by the disease, but all those around her. You know, my mom who took care of her, my dad. It was financially, emotionally very, you know, stressful and overwhelming at times. But if we're able to be in a position to, you know, have the opportunity to get these resources and put some things in place, then it can ease, you know, some of that burden on those around you and who are all involved, because it's not just the one person. It usually affects, you know, the whole family or all those loved ones around them. So Candace, tell us again about the event and where can people go to register to get tickets, and the day and time and where it takes place.
Okay, some of the other workshops that I didn't mention will include a panel discussion, actually, where there'll be experts, local experts, who will be there to answer your questions about grief, complicated grief, about how lack of funeral ceremony, getting away from having an actual funeral, is affecting people psychologically. So we have a clinical psychologist, Dr. Veronica Tedderton, who's coming all the way from Texas to sit on this panel and talk with Jacksonville residents. We'll actually have someone there to answer questions more related, you know, to funeral options as well. We'll have someone from Life Health Net who will be there to answer your questions about tissue and organ donation. A very important question that people have about whether to do it, whether to not do it. You'll have an opportunity to get your questions answered and make a decision, an informed decision about this very special gift, because it's an opportunity to give multiple people gifts, you know, from donating in that way. Also, you'll get an opportunity to, one of the workshops will be on Life Insurance 101. And again, I just want to emphasize, no one's there to sell you anything. It's all about information. So in that particular workshop, you're going to learn about the different types of insurance, how much insurance you need. It's general information. So that's some more of the workshops that are being offered. Also, I'll be doing a workshop on how to support, from a community standpoint, people who have lost a loved one. So I'll be doing a mass workshop on that as well. It is going to take place again January 14th at the Schultz Center off of Beach Boulevard from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the evening. All you have to do, because it is completely free to Jacksonville residents, is go to CandiceJacobsCreations.com, and that's Candice, K-A-N-D-I-C-E, creations.com, and click register today. It is literally just that simple. But I can't emphasize enough that space is limited, so although it's free, you do have to register to attend.
Well, thank you so much, Candice, for taking the time to join me today and our viewers. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing everyone at the community event January 14th. Have a great day.
Thank you.